In the Moro arc of the Dragon Ball Super manga, Goku and Vegeta went face to face with Moro, the ancient planet-devouring villain whose magical power was unrivaled. Despite their incredible power, they stood no chance against Moro's ability to drain them of their energy, causing them to be defeated, and Moro to become even more powerful as a result. Now, as Moro sweeps throughout the universe like an even hungrier Galactus, Goku and Vegeta have separated and are doing some training, with their goal to achieve an ultimate technique capable of defeating Moro. Goku's plan is to achieve total mastery of Ultra Instinct, the ability which allowed him to surpass the gods and defeat Jiren in the Tournament of Power, an ability he lost immediately afterward. How a cop from space is supposed to do that better than Whis, a character who already has the ability, is anyone's guess, but I'm sure Goku will do it in time. This, however, leaves Vegeta, who has traveled to Yardrat to learn a special new ability. But what ability will Vegeta learn from this mysterious species? What could they really offer him that could change the odds in his favor? Well, to determine that, we first have to take a look at who the Yardratians are. Now, for a brief history lesson, as Goku defeated Frieza on planet Namek, the planet was about to explode. Goku seemingly had no hope for escape. That was until he found a Ginyu Force space pod. When Goku activated the ship, it set course for its pre-programmed destination. This was the planet Yardrat. Goku would remain on this planet for over a year before his return to the Earth. Here he studied under the people of Yardrat, and learned a single technique along the way, that being the Shunkan Ito, also known as the instantaneous movement or instant transmission in the English dub. This allowed Goku to teleport anywhere, so long as he could lock onto a key signature, taking him not only across solar systems, but galaxies, and even to other dimensions. When Goku demonstrated this ability to the Z Fighters and mentioned that he had been on planet Yardrat, Vegeta recognized the name. That's because he had just previously been a high-ranking member of the Frieza Force. As a result, he deduced that the Ginyu Force was planning to invade planet Yardrat. And the reason for that is likely because of what Vegeta says next, that the Yardratians possess strange and powerful techniques. Vegeta reiterated this in the most recent chapter of the Dragon Ball Super manga, so that leads back to the question of, what kind of ability will Vegeta learn? Now at this point, the techniques known to the Yardratians are relatively a mystery. However, if we take a look at the one technique of theirs that we've seen so far, the instant transmission, chances are that these abilities are very powerful. After all, the ability to teleport like Goku does is something traditionally reserved only for the gods, with the prime example being the Supreme Kais. Their ability is somewhat different, since it doesn't have to lock on to a key signature in order to use, but it is a godly ability nonetheless. So perhaps it's possible that the people of Yardrat have developed abilities typically only reserved for the gods, in order to best protect themselves. I suspect that they're much like the Metamoran people who Goku met in the afterlife, a weak people who developed the magical technique of fusion to become stronger than the sum of their parts. And the gods even possess their own kind of fusion with the Patara earrings. So with that being a possibility, what technique would best suit Vegeta to use against Moro? Well, I think it comes down to two distinct factors. Number one being the kind of character that Vegeta is, and number two being the ability that would best help against Moro. Now for the first part, we know that Vegeta is a proud warrior who typically likes to fight his enemies head on and assert his supremacy, so I'm doubtful that he'll learn something that makes him too far removed from the fight. However, it seems unlikely that he would try and learn an ability to buff himself, much like the Kaioken, since Moro's ability to drain his energy would render it useless. He additionally wouldn't learn the ability of instant transmission because Goku already knows it, and Vegeta would probably see it as the ability to run away from a fight knowing him. I also don't see Vegeta chanting any kind of magical incantations, or summoning a stand like in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to fight for him, so those abilities are likely out of the question. And when it comes to Moro, it's difficult to figure out what kind of technique could really work against him, especially when most of them seem to be powered by the energy known as Ki, which Moro absorbs and effectively nullifies. I don't exactly think that Vegeta could learn to have infinite stamina like the androids either, especially when they largely run off of a different kind of energy than he does, not to mention that they were modified by a mad scientist. But there is one technique that we know does work on Moro, with that being a sealing technique. because during his battle against the Grand Supreme Kai millions of years ago, the Daikaioshin used a technique to seal away Moro's power within himself, rendering him essentially powerless, although this came at the cost of most of his godly power. So perhaps Vegeta is going to the planet in order to learn a sealing technique like this, so that he can defeat Moro himself. I wouldn't be surprised if they knew an ability like that. However, it's strange that he wouldn't just go to the Daikaioshin, who is currently inside of Buu for that training, or even to Whis, who he already trains under and was confirmed to have a sealing technique at the end of the future Trunks arc. That could be a matter of pride, or maybe Vegeta intending to learn something else. Or maybe the writer's just forgetting about it. Ultimately, we're going to have to wait and see what Vegeta will learn, and once he does, if that ability will get the job done. Although that would require Vegeta to actually get the win against the main villain for once, and I don't know if Toriyama or Toyotaro will ever allow for that. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you can see all of my content right away when it comes out.
Yeah, and you better subscribe.